Hi Virgo, what's up? Thanks for joining me for your mid-full moon reading. 2-in-1. I just went rather quiet when I was meditating on your sign, so I suppose I won't have much to say, but you never know because that might all change with just one card popping up and staring me in the face. Before we get into this mid-month reading, let's just quickly go over the cards that popped up for your full month reading. They were Justice, Nine of Pentacles, Lover's card, the Fool card, and the Ten of Swords in the reverse. We also got the Ten of Cups, the Five of Cups in the reverse, the Chariot card, the Hanged Man, and the Page of Swords. So your reading was stuffed full of major arcanas, more than other readings for other signs. Suggesting, well, all sorts of things, namely that it was a very divinely orchestrated reading, one that you ought to have paid attention to. Well, thank you anyway. If you watch my videos, thanks for your attention to begin with. Second of all, that there are major shifts in the energies occurring right now for you. There were a lot of completion cards, but at the same time, the need for patience, especially seeing the Hanged Man pop up, tells us that you run the risk of making the same mistakes if you don't switch your perspective. So the Hanged Man is really there to say, hey, slow down, stop. There will be a new start for you. However, due to the fact that you're pushing your limits and you're worried that you're just going to walk into the same vicious cycle. So if you are ending one pinnacle, which is 9 years, and entering another, you don't necessarily want to have to relearn the same lessons that you've spent the last 9 years learning. So we want to move out of stagnation. We want to become more productive. I don't need to tell Virgo to be more productive. You'll always find a way to do so. It's just that you stop being productive when you utilize the same methods. So if you want a mental snapshot of those pictures, I'm sorry, by the way, I kind of made a few mistakes here and there. So it's just so goddamn ironic, okay? You with the one sign that appreciates detail and design and all of that, I messed up with the writing. I'm sorry. Anyway, here's a mental snapshot of the cards that popped up in your main month reading. I'm also using a different deck, and I'm going to be laying out a Celtic cross. I love this deck. I'm very fond of it, and I had made a deal with myself that I would wait for 2 years before using it because it takes around 1.5 years to master it. However, I was drawn to it for these mid-month readings, so I'm not going to stop myself, and I'm just going to go with it, and it's been going well so far, so let's just do it. Your central issue here is the Princess of Cups, Page of Cups. I won't know what to say about this Page of Cups until I see more neighboring cards come out. Your challenge, the Tower. Yes, absolutely. Why? Because there truly is this need to make sure that you enter, because we are approaching the energies you enter with a completely new perspective. And I mean, it's not enough to just simply say that you're going to do it. You actually have to implement this change, or else you're just not going to see it happen. You say this month after month after month, like, yes, I have to stop doing this. I have to stop listening to this person, or I have to stop falling into the same traps because you want this to happen, but you're not truly doing anything about it because you are afraid of the substantial amount of change that comes with this mindset. And I get that. Well, I don't, because I'm an Aquarius and I'll just do it. But I mean, I get it because I hear it. I hear it coming from Virgos, especially a couple of friends of mine that will sit me down and they'll be like, it's not so easy for us to make major changes, or even the smallest of change, okay? can require weeks and months of contemplation before you actually put it into effect. So I can't even imagine what a major transformation like this Tower card calls for, how long that would actually take before it sinks in to a degree of comfort where you can actually do something about it. Of course, depending on your Mars and your Mercury, it's not going to be as difficult as I'm portraying it to be right now. But if you've got so much Virgo in your chart, then yes, it will take you an incredibly long time before you get things moving. Your challenge really now is to take this leap of faith and really, really move. I'm interested in knowing where your Mars is, because Mars is an action planet, and Mars will ultimately give you a lot of insight into where this Tower card is going to play out. So if Mars falls in your in the house that looks over relationships or money or love, partnerships, contracts, so on and so forth, then you should expect there to be significant movement in that arena of your life. And it's also important to know which sign Mars falls in to determine the speed or the quality that, the speed in which this movement will occur and the quality that it will have. So if your Mars is in Aries, then I don't expect you to waste any time and you'll just get on it. If your Mars is in Taurus, I would expect that certain conditions need to be met before you're confident enough to make a decision and actually say, yes, okay, this change is happening. It meets my lifestyle standards. Very important for a Taurus. So on and so forth. So the quality is going to differ significantly. How fast you move will also depend on this. And with the Princess of Cups being the central issue, it's again acting on manifestation and thought here. But there's something that's putting this card on hold to me. So you will not be able to manifest what you want until you really figure things out. And how you figure it out is going to depend on other parts of your natal chart. And oh gosh, we're all minutes in and I've just been talking about 2 cards and that's silly. Okay. Your mental thoughts, what's crowning you. You're not in a very good, hot space right now in your mind with this 3 of Swords. Your base card, Temperance. I honestly understand you're putting in so much effort to get things right, Virgo, to the point of frustration. You're more capable of helping other people out than you are of helping yourself out at this time. And that will lead to frustration. But you do this gladly anyway. You want to help people, and that's a very beautiful characteristic of Virgo. But you can't help but just sink into your own depression at the end of the night as well, because you might feel helpless and hopeless when it comes to your own personal situation. Especially when it's in reference to other people, and I'll explain what I mean about that. Okay? What I mean is that when you see people endure so much hurt and struggles in their own personal life, then it dawns on you of just how messed up our world is. Because Virgos can be very humanitarian. You want to see justice actually take shape. And justice is your neighboring sign, your sister sign. So where Libra fails in their acts of humanity, you really, really strive to compensate for their losses. You guys help each other out. So Libra wants fairness but doesn't always look at the details, and that's where Virgo can help. And Virgo ultimately uses the details in order to establish what is the fairest outcome. Yeah, what I'm trying to say here. So you also can have a tendency to compare your life to the life of those around you. You will benchmark your own life based on what's happening in their lives as well. This doesn't I'm not saying that you're going to look at your friend who owns a Mustang and say, hey, that means that I should be able to own a Mustang. No, it's not like that. It's more like, my friend is suffering. This means that we're in the presence of enemies, and that means I'm in the presence of enemies. All these friends of mine seem to be able to move forward in their relationships. They're getting engaged, married, having kids, whatever. I should be able to be doing that as well, in the sense that, okay, we're all in the same soul group here. There is some form of lesson for me to learn. I must be doing something wrong if I'm still single and not moving forward, and they are. And there's this tendency to keep comparing yourself with those around you, and it can get quite tiring. Even more so if their successes come from your advice, where you're like, you're the one who encouraged them to take that leap of faith with the man or woman of their dreams, and they did, and now they're having a kid. And you're still in the same place you were 3 years ago, for instance. There's this duality where you are both really happy for the successes of the people that you love, but also a bit, unfortunately, sad for yourself for not being able to have that same happiness. Please don't hate on me for saying that. So you want to master temperance, and you are in the midst of it right now. But there is this feeling that love is so far away from you, unfortunately. Because deep down inside, you know that you repel love when you don't have enough of it for yourself. And right now, it is in the distant past, in terms of where it's falling here. You're reading. Not all gloomy, though, because we have here the future card, Four of Cups. And what this tells me is that you're going to be presented with the opportunity to make the right decision soon. So if you have a significant change occur, this challenge with the Tower, it may have a lot to do with how you manage your emotions with people, in relationships. For good. The Tower doesn't do anything on a temporary basis. The Tower wants to significantly alter your life. Tower is Saturn. You're comfortable right now with yourself, okay? You're comfortable with yourself, what you have, what you own, everything denoting physical objects. You're fine. Financially, you're fine. You're not struggling. But that's not the source of happiness for you. You're fine in the sense that you can provide for others if you wanted to. But if they don't want that with you, Virgo, that's when, well, there's nothing that any of us can do about that, right? There's nothing that I could do, you could do, anyone can do. If I wanted to be with someone and they don't want to be with me, yes, it's going to torment me. But we already saw that you're coming out of this stagnation. You're coming out of that point where you feel entirely too stuck. So whether or not you like to admit it to yourself, it's easier for you to move on now than it was for you to move on, let's say, a year ago. You've begun to gain thick skin, and it's not very easy for people to get under your skin like it was before. So it's been a very, very slow learning curve for you. And now you're reaching a point where it's baselining. The Tower is just calling for that edge, that it's the last chance for you to peak in this learning curve before you actually learn once and for all how it is that you can integrate this change in the way you process your emotions about things and people, and moments of clarity that freak you out, like where you're like, oh, I really have to do this in my life. And it's so clear to you, have like an epiphany, and that epiphany can involve moving. And you're like, oh, I know I have to move. Like, I just have to leave this place, to leave this job. I have to leave this person, whatever it is. You have this moment of clarity, but you don't always know which direction to necessarily take. I can handle it in a number of ways. A number of different scenarios are playing out in my mind. I just have to agree which is best. And that's where you struggle. And that's where things like money, fortune can't help. That's where emotional intelligence is the only difference between saving you and trapping you. Wouldn't it be just amazing if we were able to be more like this magician? So we have all of our faculties under control. We could use money to buy comfort. We could use our hearts to change the way that we think. We could use our brains to change the way that we feel. Wouldn't life just be so much easier if we could do that? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but no, because that's just not possible, always. We are co-creators of our own existence and of the lives of others around us. It would be great to be able to achieve such mastery. This is also something that Taurus loves to think about a lot, you know? When you plan out your future that way and the potential that you can grow into, for Taurus, it's just like, if I'm not going to have it my way, I don't even want it, so why should I even bother with it? With you guys, it's just so, things happen so slowly that you forget sometimes why it is that you even started with an activity. And that's what makes it very hard to enter this magi state, because you can't have things happen magically like that. No, that will honestly just also freak you out. Like, you need to be able to see how it came to be slowly, so that you can rationalize it and then adopt it and make sense of it and then be okay with it and then treat it like a pet. You know, we're like, hey, cool, I can keep you around. That's not how the Magus behaves, though. The Magus just makes things happen instantly. The Magus is like, I want this. Here it is. I don't want this. Bye-bye. I want you. Come to me. I'm so done with you. Go away. Thoughts in control. Feelings that I appreciate, I keep near me. Feelings that I don't want, goodbye to. Not that simple, though. I want just one more card for Virgo. So stubborn. This is actually a good sign to me, okay? It is. And I'll tell you why. Because yes, you want to be like this magician. And even though I've just told you that this is really difficult to achieve, like it's a dream for pretty much all of us, you're insistent that that's how your life will be from now on. If I want it, I'm going to make it happen. I'm done. I am done with the destructive life cycle that I've just been repeating nonstop. Entering into the same relationships with the same kind of people who never change, and nothing's ever moving, and it's not happening, you guys. It's not happening. I'm not going to force it. Not my style. Screw it. Moral of the story is you build your own glory. Okay, so I hope that made sense. I'll see you guys next month. Be well, Virgo friends.